What's going on YouTube? So in our world with an insatiable appetite for crossovers, most brands offer something in every single size category. With Nissan recently releasing their all-new Rogue, they have now turned their attention to the smallest crossover in their lineup, the Kicks. For the 2021 model year, it is getting an extensive refresh, which doubles down on the fun and stylish vibe that the Kicks has always had and includes a very impressive amount of standard equipment. So is this the best crossover you can buy for under 20 grand? Let's go ahead and find out. So the big theme with this updated Kicks is the fact that Nissan has really made things a lot less cute and a lot more aggressive, and that's especially true up here in the front. So this makes a huge difference because you now have a huge grille. This takes up the majority of the front end. It's the double V-motion grille, so you have the main part here finished in black. You also have the black area that goes around it, and that extends all the way down here to the lower fascia. Now you have a couple pieces of chrome that trim around through here, and this piece here extends underneath of the also updated headlights. So what Nissan has done is made the unit a lot thinner this year. It's also a lot more angular. As far as the lighting technology, these are going to be halogen headlights for the S and the SV trim level. However, if you get the SR trim level, you now get LED headlights for the low beams, and then you also have LED fog lights on that trim. Now moving around to the side of this stylish design, we do have brand new wheel options for 2021. So you have a 16-inch steel wheel on the S model, and then the next two trim levels, those come with 17-inch contrast alloys. However, what you're looking at is neither of those. That's because we have an optional 17-inch full gloss black alloy, which I think looks very nice, especially in contrast with this model's brand new electric blue shade of paint. Now I do also want to mention something about the brakes. You have 11-inch vented disc brakes in the front, and new for 2021 you have 11-inch vented disc brakes in the back as well for the SV and SR trim level. And moving next to our mirrors, they are going to be heated on all but the base model, and you'll also find blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert included on all of the trim levels.
Now before we get around to the rear design, there is a few new things here at the side with the Kicks for this 2021 update. Now, probably namely the best feature about it is the fact that you can get the two-tone roof. You have expanded availability of that on the SV SR trims, and you do also have more color options, although this one is just the standard roof on this model. Now, going around to the rear itself, there's also quite a few changes back here as well. Most notably, you're noticing these taillights right here. These are going to be LED, so you heard me right, it does have LED taillights, which is a really nice feature, and now they are connected, so they kind of go all the way through to give it that really cool, unique design. Now the turn signal and reverse light are still going to be incandescent though. Now if we drop down, we do have a new diffuser area. There's going to be a lot less black plastic moldings to give it a more expensive look. However, you're not going to have exposed exhaust outlets on any of them. Now Nissan updated the Kicks last year to get the to include their Safety Shield Suite 360. The Safety Shield. Now Nissan updated their safety systems last year for this Kicks model. That's going to carry over for 2021. So you're going to have forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, as well as auto high beam headlamps and rear auto braking standard. However, you're not going to have lane keeping assist. Now, additionally, if you go for the SV trims or higher, that's going to include adaptive cruise control. Well guys, that's going to sum up this really cool exterior design for the Kicks in this bright blue color. But if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please go ahead and do that. It really helps us out and it's completely free to you.
So on the Kicks, Nissan is nicely including their intelligent entry system as well as remote start on all but the base model. So that's certainly very impressive to see in this class. And to get inside the vehicle itself, there's not a sensor behind the handle, so you just press the button. Alright, and taking a look inside of this cabin, you'll notice right away there's some pretty substantial changes to the design, and there's also a lot more standard equipment for 2021. Now I'll start out first by talking about the interior material and color options. So your S and your SV trim levels, those will come standard with cloth seating in this charcoal color only. However, when you go to the SR trim level, you get the charcoal seats but with special orange accents. And then the SR has a premium package which can upgrade you to leatherette seating, and that comes with charcoal and light gray accents. Now taking a look over here at the door trim, you have a cloth material across your armrest portion. Of course, the rest of this is going to be hard touch. And then your windows will be one touch auto up and down for your driver and your passenger. Checking out the seats, these are going to be 6-way manual adjusting across all the trim levels. And I have to say I really like this new design on the seats. You got this cool texture, they're pretty comfortable as well, and you do have color contrast stitching that runs all throughout the seat, so this definitely doesn't look like a cheap seat. Now, as far as your different materials inside of here, of course, this is an entry-level vehicle, so they're not going to be like super luxurious or anything. You're going to find hard touch plastics across pretty much all of the upper dash as well as the lower areas. You have this cool textured look to the plastic in the center, which I like. However, as we move down to this part, I might as well go ahead and talk about this. New for 2021. The SV and SR trim levels will come with this brand new center console and armrest arrangement, which I have to say looks very premium, and you even have the leatherette trim through here, so this is very impressive. And as far as the build quality of everything, does feel extremely solid and fit together very nicely. Now to start up the top 2 trim levels, press the button. Now right from the start here, you'll probably see something a lot more premium than what you were expecting, and that is this 7-inch display, which acts as your tachometer as well as your multi-function display. Really nice resolution on this, and actually is a fancier looking than what you see on some of the upper end Nissan products. So it's really impressive to see this here at the price point of barely over $20,000. Now coming back to the steering wheel, you have the flat bottom shape. It is going to be leather wrapped if you choose the top SR trim level, and you can also get heating if you choose the premium package on the SR. But as far as the steering wheel itself, it is going to be manual tilt and telescoping. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look now at the interior storage options. So this is a subcompact crossover. Obviously storage is going to be a little bit challenging. So underneath of our brand new leather wrapped center armrest here, you have a very small amount of space. Just enough to stick maybe your wallet or something like that. Obviously, our big stack of coupons is not going to fit in there. Up in front of that, we have our 2 cup holder areas. You have this little piece here, which can give you 2 adjustable sizes for both the cup holders. And then up in the very front here, we have a really nice storage area. This is definitely large enough for your cell phone to fit. You have a rubber lining on that. You also have 2 USB ports as well as a 12-volt outlet. Now, like I was already mentioning, all this area does kind of change between the trim levels. So the S model has like basically a big space here and then a fold-down armrest. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the shifter. Obviously, this is just a regular automatic shifter, so you pull back to D. You can go into the L for low as well. And then heading up into reverse, this is where you'll find the standard backup camera up here. As you can tell, the resolution is pretty good. We also have active trajectory, and surprisingly, we even have parking sensors, so that's certainly a nice touch at this price. Then up in front of that, you do have an electronic parking brake with a brake hold function on SV and SR trim levels. Now going up the dashboard, the next thing we take a look at are our climate controls. You do have a manual setup if you choose the S trim level. The other ones come with this single zone automatic setup. So you can adjust your temperature just with this one knob like so. You have your fan speeds right over there, and your other controls like your zones are located physically right here. I will also point out that you can get heated seats if you choose the SR with the premium package. And now let's go ahead and give the audio system a sample. So all the trim levels come standard with the 6-speaker sound system. You can get the optional Bose sound system with the speakers and the headrest in the SR premium package that I already mentioned. But let's sample the standard version. Sound quality of this system is actually not too bad. I have to say, the bass is a lot more than I expected, and it fills up the cabin pretty well. Okay, so now let's take a look at this display. Now if you're familiar with the 2020 version, you'll notice that this is a little bit different. That's because Nissan has upgraded the display. So if you choose the SV or the SR trim level, you now have an 8-inch display instead of the previous 7-inch display. When I click on some things here, very responsive. So it is the newest capacitive touch style. As far as the Nissan software on board, this is what we've come to expect from the brand. You have your little widgets that are right through there. You do also have standard Android Auto and standard Apple CarPlay, and that's regardless of which screen you choose. And wrapping up the front of the interior, we do have a manual dimming mirror. And then up top, there won't be a moonroof. It's actually not available on any version of the Kicks. However, that being said, that does allow you to have an absolutely tremendous amount of headroom.
Alrighty, I'm in the Kicks' rear seat. And as far as the space is concerned, that's probably the biggest thing you're concerned about, because for a small SUV like this, sometimes the rear seats aren't very good. That said, the space figures are going to come in at 34 inches of rear legroom, 39 inches of rear headroom. First of all, that's a ton of headroom. There's plenty of space. And as far as the legroom figures, that's around 5 inches less than the Nissan Rogue for reference. That said, it doesn't really feel all that small, because behind rear seating position, I still have, I would say, 4 inches of rear legroom, and my feet can easily slide up underneath the seat. So certainly a reasonably sized adult can fit back here with no problems. Now, as far as the features are concerned, you don't expect much. However, I am very pleasantly surprised to see that Nissan has included 2 charging USB ports here in the center, and there is not going to be an armrest. Now, walking up to the tailgate, of course, you're not going to expect it to have a power one, and it's not available on any of the trim levels, just like everything else in the class. So just push the button and it will open up. And as far as the space itself is concerned, you're going to have 25 cubic feet of space behind the second row seats. If you fold it, apparently you get 32 cubic feet of space. Seems like it'd be a lot larger than that, but that's technically what Nissan has it rated at, so that's what we're going to go with today. But that's a pretty decent amount of space. Obviously, it's less than that of something like a Nissan Rogue, but definitely enough for the average consumer to haul some good stuff back here. Now, as far as how they finished it, we do have a nice carpeting along the floor. If we lift it up, there is a spare tire. And then here on the sides, we do have a light. And in order to fold the seats, you just reach up and pull these toggles, and they do fold 60-40 split. Now, as far as your passenger seat, it is going to be manually adjusting. And if we open up the glove box, it is actually dampened, so that's a nice touch. And as far as how the coupons fit in, well, they actually fit in really well. This is a good sized glove box. It's very square, but it can fit them in barely as far as the width is concerned. And you can fit a huge stack in here, so you can save money on buying this Kicks as well as on food. And then if we open up the sun visor here, we do have a mirror as well as a light, and we can also detach it, and there's a large extension in the end.
right, so that brings us up to 60 miles per hour with this Kicks. So, obviously, as you can probably tell, this is not a fast vehicle.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination. It's certainly rather slow, but most things in this class are. So as far as your horsepower, it's 122 horsepower, 114 pound-feet of torque from a 1.6 liter four-cylinder engine. I will point out, actually, when you first take off with the throttle response, the way that Nissan has tuned it, you actually do kind of shoot off pretty quickly. So just like going around town, which is what this is made for primarily, it doesn't actually feel super slow, when you're just moving at moderate speeds.
Yeah.
Now, going into that is the CVT that has been tuned to be, more responsive. This does have the D-step logic as well, so you'll notice that it does have shift simulation, so you won't have any type of problems with droning or anything like that. So I'm definitely appreciative that they've included the D-step logic.
For sure. Let's go ahead and discuss the Airball and Slam Dunk. So for our Slam Dunk, we'll start with that first. I'm just going to say the equipment level at this price point. We will get into the price a little later in the video, but this is a very, very affordable crossover, and you're going to have a lot of features. I'm really impressed that you have blind spot monitoring and all of that. That's included, pretty much standard on every single Kicks. So that is certainly a great thing to have. Now, on the Airball side of things, I think we can both agree that this engine is just a little bit on the slow side. Not that really anything else in this class is fast by any means, but 122 horsepower is one of the weakest things that you can get in a modern vehicle. So that's just something to consider. And now that we're up to 55 here, let's go ahead and get a sound level reading. We're going to be sitting at 59.3 decibels. That's actually a good reading. I'm pleasantly surprised by that. A lot in this segment can really maybe cheap out on the wind deadening and stuff like that, and this is really just as quiet as we just tested a Hyundai Elantra at 59, and that's one of the quieter readings that we've gotten on this stretch. So certainly a good job from Nissan here with that. And as far as the ride quality is concerned, obviously this is tuned to be a comfortable vehicle. And I'm very pleasantly surprised. Once again, Nissan has done a very good job at making this comfortable. When you hit a bump, you don't really feel it all that much. So they've done a very good job of making this comfort focused, and not pretending to be something that it's not. And let's go ahead and talk about the fuel economy. So this vehicle is very efficient since you do have that 1.6 liter engine. So it's going to come in at 31, 36, 33 combined. Of course, front wheel drive is your only option. So that's going to be across all of the Kicks. Now, as I alluded to earlier, one of the Kicks' strongest selling points is the fact that this is a very affordable crossover. And the prices do rise a little bit for 2021, but that's still very, very affordable. So the S is going to be $19,500, the SV $21,300, and the SR is $21,940. Now we have a fully loaded SV with some of the accessories that we talked about on the outside, and the destination charge of $1,095 brings this one to $23,320.
And that right there, I think, is a good place to conclude with, because I think that price tag really shows how much value is packed into this Kicks. We have options, we have equipment, we have a really stylish and cool package, and you just have so much standard equipment on board with destination charge, barely over $23,000, and you can get this for under $20,000.
And that's before discounts too.
Yeah, and that's not even accounting discounts. So I think, if you really look at this Kicks as a whole package, you just have a ton of stuff packed into this small body size, and I think this really makes it a super appealing urban crossover vehicle.
Well guys, that's it for today's review of this refreshed 2021 Nissan Kicks. We really appreciate you watching this video, and if you made it this far, you're a real one. We really appreciate you, and be sure to help us out even more by hitting that subscribe button down below. All it's going to do is give you notifications on all of our most recent content. It's completely free, and we're going to have a lot of great content coming up soon, so you won't want to miss out. Anyway, we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.
Alright, so now we're up to 16 miles per hour. We were going uphill, but this is very slow. Certainly won't be pulling out.
Please do not pull out in front of me. We will be dead.
A kick sandwich if we pull out in
We
front
will
of
be kicked to Lexington.